Good evening and welcome to this special edition of The Big Fight, a show that is young at 23. It's not 23 years old because this is the oldest running debate show on Indian news television. Now, the monsoon session of Parliament is over. What you see behind me is the old Parliament building. It is quite possible, I do not know, this has not been officially communicated, but it is quite possible that what you heard last week was perhaps the last of the debates from this iconic building. It is quite possible that in the winter session, the activities will shift to the new building. So as far as the penultimate day in the old Parliament building is concerned, we had a no trust motion, no trust vote, no confidence motion. The opposition decided something which can be, if you know, in filmy parlance, can be called Bazigar, haar ke jeetna. Why do I say this? Because they knew that they don't have the numbers, but they wanted to corner the government and get the Prime Minister to comment on Manipur. So they knew wo haarenge, but in their mind wo jeetenge if the Prime Minister comments on Manipur. So the debate happened. It was a fairly long debate for about 18 hours. Lots of speakers spoke, Rahul Gandhi spoke, and from the government chose to spoke about a little bit of Manipur and a lot of everything else. Thus, treating this no confidence motion as an extremely broad canvas on which they could launch what appeared to be a 2024 election campaign to reiterate what they've done over the past 9.5 years. In that context, has the opposition's mission Bazigar in Parliament vis-a-vis Manipur really worked? That is going to be our debating point on The Big Fight. Let me introduce our guest this evening from the lawns right outside Parliament. I have Mr. Vinod Agnihotri, a veteran when it comes to covering Parliament. So is Ms. Smita Gupta. Thank you very much, senior journalist right here on the panel. We also have Shama Mohammed, spokesperson of the Congress Party. Mr. K.C. Tyagi, who's a veteran and a historian, political historian, I would say, Mr. K.C. Tyagi. He will, through the course of the program, I am assuming, Mr. Tyagi, give us lots of references of no confidence motions from the past. So we wish to learn from you. Sanjay Singh, a senior journalist, thank you very much for joining us. Sajan Kumar is a political analyst. Thank you very much. Prakash Chand Sharma from the Bharatiya Janata Party. And Kartike Batra, the young, erudite, sharp researcher called Kartike Batra. Thank you very much. Let's begin, as always, the big fight with what we call is the first punch. So, Mr. Vinod Agnihotri, what is your opening comment? 1 minute of uninterrupted time. That time begins now.
You see, this opposition, this no confidence motion, opposition wanted to bring Prime Minister in the House and he should say some few words on the Manipur. But government was not willing to involve Prime Minister in that debate, and they offered Home Minister will respond to the opposition and do the discussion in a short duration. But bringing no confidence motion, finally, at the opposition point of view, you can say they succeeded to bring Prime Minister in the House, and he addressed Manipur also. But where the opposition has lost the opportunity, after entire debate, Gaurav Gogoi, very good, he spoke very well and he put the motion rightly, all the facts with. But in the last, when opposition walked out from the house, that was, I think, they have missed the opportunity because they should have stayed there and should have listened the Prime Minister's speech and should have exercised their right to reply. Finally, the last word would have been with the opposition, okay. But they have missed that opportunity.
Yeah, by walking out, they missed that opportunity. Okay, I think that's an important point. Ms. Smita Gupta, you may want to use that mic. And by the way, before you start speaking, Mr. K.C. Tyagi had a concern at the beginning of this broadcast that he wants a chai pe charcha. So I assure you, Mr. Tyagi, in just a short moment, we will have tea right here.
Only chai or chai ke baad with why?
Oh, no, only chai, please. Only tea. Yes, Ms. Smita Gupta.
I'll start where Vinod left off. He has said that he thought that the opposition lost an opportunity by walking out. But if one looks back at how this parliament has been functioning from 2014, how many times has the ruling party permitted the opposition to speak out, especially when it is critical of the Prime Minister? So even if they had stayed on, I don't think, at least I think the walkout did make sense to me. Secondly, I think their choice of Manipur was very good, because Manipur is emblematic of what is wrong with the BJP's form of governance, which is divide and rule. So in Manipur, we've seen how they have tried to divide the Meiteis and the tribals, the Kukis and the Nagas for electoral advantage. They have a Meitei chief minister, and they thought that the Meiteis, being Vaishnavs, would could be plugged into their Hindutva politics. We see simultaneously right now in Haryana, we are Hindu-Muslim. It's the Bajrang Dal and the Vishwa Hindu Parishad which have started it off. So this has been a problem right from the beginning, that, theirs is a divide and rule policy. They have not worked towards uniting India at all.
I'll come back to you. If you could pass on the mic to Ms. Shama Mohammed, your opening comment.
Vinodji said that we wanted the Prime Minister to speak in Parliament. Yes, we wanted him to speak in Parliament simply because he did not speak elsewhere. The Prime Minister of a nation, presidents of various countries, when there is strife, when there are riots, when there is internal strife, they come out and say, listen, I want peace in my country. I don't want my countrymen to fight. Did the Prime Minister of India speak a word for peace? No. He only spoke when after 80 days a video became viral of two women being paraded naked, and one of them was raped and the other one was an army man's wife, who said very clearly, in Kargil, I was at the front line at Kargil, but this is worse than that. That is what the army men said. If you are not able to answer to your Jawans, if you are not able to answer to your people, what sort of Prime Minister is that, who wants to speak only when there are good times, when the army does well, when our wrestlers win medals, but when they are in sickness, when they are in strife, this Prime Minister is not with anybody. That is why we wanted this session, because we wanted answers on Manipur. Let's understand very importantly, Sanket, more than 1,000 houses have been burnt. Many women have been raped. More than 150 people dead. Churches, more than 200 have been burnt. Ammunitions robbed from police station. This is a national security issue. When so much has happened, the Prime Minister of India has shut his mouth. And in Parliament yesterday, one last point, he spoke for 3 minutes on Manipur. That's why the opposition walked out. And when he spoke in the beginning, he was ridiculing. He was laughing. And the whole of the Bharatiya Janata Party was laughing.
Your 1 minute.
That doesn't work when we are upset. The Prime Minister of India was mocking Manipur yesterday.
You'll get another chance. Yes, one moment. Keep that mic with you. Mr. K.C. Tyagi,
was mocking Manipur yesterday, the Prime Minister of India.
Okay, one moment. Your opening comment time is up. Mr. K.C. Tyagi, would you want to start with your opening comment, or would you like to have tea first? It's right here.
Thank you, bhai.
Yes.
Thank you to Chai and Chai Wala both.
Yes. Mr. Tyagi's opening comment. No, you carry on. You carry on.
संकेत जी, काफी दिनों से, जब से खास तौर से नीतीश कुमार जी का तीर चला है पटना से और बंगलौर होते हुए मुंबई पहुंचने वाला है, देश की राजनीति में काफी क्वालिटेटिव चेंज आए। और स्मिता जी बैठी हैं, हम लोग तो नेशनल फ्रंट बनाने के लिए कभी वीपी सिंह, देवीलाल करुणानिधि के नेतृत्व में चेन्नई भी गए थे। और मुझे तो संकेत जी कम से कम आधा दर्जन मौके मुझे ऐसे मिले हैं जब मैं अपोजिशन यूनिटी के बीच में रहा हूँ। 74 ऑफ चरण सिंह, 77 ऑफ जेपी, देन अगेन लोकदल, देन अगेन जनता पार्टी, एंड देन मैनी फैक्शंस ऑफ जनता पार्टी इंक्लूडिंग जनता दल यू आल्सो। अब इस समय जो सवाल हैं वो पहले सवालों से ज्यादा गहरे हो गए। इंदिरा जी के समय भी ये कुछ सवाल थे, जैसे कोऑपरेटिव फेडरलिज्म था, चुनी हुई सरकारें तब भी गिरती थी, लेकिन अब संख्याओं में और भी बढ़ोतरी हो गई है.
ठीक जी. संजय सिंह जी.
See, Sanket, it was known that opposition never had numbers, and they said so. The point was, if you wanted to bring Prime Minister to the House, perfectly all right, you moved a no confidence motion, but at the same time, they gave a huge opportunity to Prime Minister Modi, given his kind of oratorical skill, given the kind of strength that BJP and NDA has in House, to go into whole gamut of issues where BJP was on a very strong footing. Remember about historicity of Manipur also, the BJP had too many things to talk. Of course, there were certain issues which were kind of issues of concern as to what is happening in Manipur now. But if you look at entire debate, it was only Gaurav Gogoi in the beginning, even from the opposition benches, who actually talked about Manipur and Manipur. The rest of leaders strayed everywhere, as is the case with any no confidence motion. So I would say, if you're happy with the consolation prize that Prime Minister came to this House and our purpose is served, remember the Parliament constitutes of two houses of Parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. It was only in Lok Sabha that
The purpose was to corner the government on Manipur. Even that was not. That was also not properly done.
Yes,
that is your assessment. Okay.
Okay.
Opening comment. Any comment? You don't bother with the mic. We have your audio covered.
Yeah.
Mr. Sajjan.
Look, I mean, we have to see the conduct of the parliament in the last 3 days. And if you see, it's clear that political culture has shifted more into the mode of guerrilla warfare rather than the conventional warfare, wherein every party, every leader, they are willing to outsmart their rivals in everything. So therefore, this claim of following the old norm and old ethics is something which is more like a front, which is more like a cover, and ultimately the question of moral high ground is always about who wins the debate, who wins the show. And crucial question here is that yes, opposition has the democratic right to ask Prime Minister to speak, but there is also another question: can you discuss the question of Manipur without linking it to the larger politics and changes that are happening in the northeast? And therein, if Manipur was a matter of moral concern, outrage, was it outrage with conviction or without conviction? Because we did not see, yes, as was spoken, Gaurav Gogoi spoke on Manipur, but majority of the opposition parties, they deviated from the Manipur. So that it seems that moral high ground, there is a competition between the ruling and the opposition party, and we have entered into a phase wherein we should not be surprised, wherein new modes of norms and ethics are being implemented and olds are being violated.
Okay. Now you pass that mic on to Mr. Sanjay Singh. Mr. Prakash Chandra Sharma.
And for the great debate as well. See, you started your comment with this Bajigiri of opposition. It was not the Bajigiri, it was the Awaragiri. What they ruined this monsoon, I'm sorry for this word, sir, but I am really hurt the way they did it. They are setting, the concern about our futuristic part for our youngsters, for our public, what they are seeing, and only due to condemn of that. They should understand, they should look the matter in the totality. They should look the debate into the concern as a whole. When the Home Minister is responsible, they should listen the whole part with the background, with the present and the future. See, any incident happen, and that is very rude, very ruthless, and we all are shame on that. But we should understand in this particular moment, when you have a particular problem, you have a pain, you give the painkiller to cure the pain. You don't raise the pain, you hold the man and say, no, see how the pain is. What the acting you people are doing. You just want to ruin the country. You ruined the country till now. In the last 9 years, we have seen the shifted change from the politics to the geopolitical situation where this India is there. Okay. And now the creating a INDIA. You understand, you win the heart of the people. It will never happen.
Okay. I think it is very safe to say. It is extremely safe to say that what happened in Parliament and the sort of speeches that were made was not really a speech for a no trust vote, but this was almost like a precursor to 2024, like a preparing. Let me tell you. Yeah, one moment. Mr. Karthike is left for his opening comments, and then I'll come to you. Mr. Karthike.
Thank you, Sanket. Sanket, let's divide this into what ought to have happened and what exactly happened. What ought to have happened was a debate like the one we had in 2012 on Kokrajhar. I was a young student back in the day. it was very heartening to see that leaders from across political parties spoke their hearts out as if they actually felt the pain of the people in Assam. That unfortunately didn't happen. The job of making the parliament function on these sensitive issues is both of the opposition and the government. But given the government's brute majority today, I think it's a little more on the government of the day. So that is what ought to have happened. What ended up happening was a David versus Goliath. Because of the parliamentary numbers in the no confidence motion, because that's the only format that the government agreed to, the opposition was given much less time to speak, to pull their punches, just because their numbers are lower, right? So the allocated time is less. And the government had a lot more time to speak. In that battle, David had to pull the punches much more strongly than Goliath, disproportionately. And I think I don't think it was as satisfying if you are a supporter of the opposition as it should have been. I'll just close it with this. I have much more to say, but maybe later.
But let's ask this question of Ms. Shama Mohammed. When David realized that it is not in terms of numbers as strong as the Goliath being mentioned here, then in that, keeping that in mind, were the punches hard enough?
I fully agree the punches were hard enough. Now, somebody said that, you know what they said? That they were hardly speaking on the issue. All women members of parliament from the opposition spoke very much on the Manipur issue, on the sexual violence, because I've listened to most of it. Then, in a no confidence motion, in the past history of India, the Prime Minister of India sits there throughout. Yes or no? There are journalists sitting there. Yes. Where was this Prime Minister? He comes in 5 minutes just before he has to speak, sits there and he starts the speech mocking. And all parliamentarians sitting there and laughing. You know, a serious issue like Manipur. All of them are displaced. Many children not going to school. They don't have houses, burned down. Let's remember the story of the mother and child escorted by police, burned down in the ambulance. So here, Mr. Amit Shah says, a very important point, he says, the CM is cooperating with us. The CM is cooperating with you to get women raped. The CM is cooperating with you for the Methi militia to rob the police station of weapons. The CM is cooperating with you to make the divide between the Methis and the Cookies more. Because let us understand how Kip, an MLA of the Bharatiya Janata Party, said, if the Prime Minister did not see the viral video, he would not have spoken. And Biren Singh has to reign in the Methi militia. And let's also understand very important part of this Manipur issue. Chief Justice, the Supreme Court, has said, called the Attorney General and the Solicitor General, said, if you and the state cannot do something in 3 days, when the video came out, we are going to do it. And the other thing is, let's understand, there's a CBI probe right now. But what did the Supreme Court do? They kept another retired police officer to monitor the CBI probe and report to them. Why? Because they do not trust the CBI, which is under the central government. And also understand that they've also put in a 3-women judge out there to see to the rehabilitation of the camps. So why all these things are happening?
Mohammed, now here is the point, Mr. Prakashan Sharma. If that was the objective, to put the government in the dock, you see, in a no trust motion, you may have brought it in to discuss Manipur. But the reality is that a no trust vote, Mr. Agnihotri, is not concentrated on any one issue. It is a motion of no confidence on the government, on everything. So they use
performance of the government.
Entire performance of the government. And to that effect, the government used that as a platform.
Yeah, but we also
platform. Even Prime Minister said in his speech कि भाई हमें तो भाग्य से मिल गया ये मौका कि हम अपनी बात कहेंगे, इसके लिए मैं धन्यवाद देता हूँ.
So let's understand. Prime Minister lied. Let me tell you his lies. I want to pinpoint his lies. One, he said about HAL. I was listening to his speech. He said, we made what HAL is today. When the Rafale deal happened, 126 aircrafts we were supposed to buy. 108 was transfer of technology to HAL. They were supposed to manufacture. And only 18 was supposed to be delivered by the French. What happened? He changed it all and he bought 36. So there was no transfer of technology to HAL, number one. Then he spoke about one particular thing which he says, the UPA Sarkar immediately believed Pakistan's words after a terrorist attack. Now, who invited the ISI to investigate after the Pathankot attack? Let me ask him that. Why didn't the Prime Minister say that? Who invited? The Home Minister, we have never invited ISI. We know who did that. The perpetrators of Pathankot was the ISI. So let me, now the second lie, the third lie. Because I need to correct the lies. I need to correct his lies. 1966. Let me finish his lies. 1966. Let me finish this. No. 1966. 1966. Mizo National Front on March 1st said we are an independent country from India. Mrs. Indira Gandhi sent the Air Force and got them back to India. And this, the Prime Minister says, Mrs. Indira Gandhi killed Mizo people. That's a lie.
Okay, fine. I've understood the point that you're making.
One moment, Shama Mohammed. We will not allow him to lie. We will correct those lies.
So the argument that was made, one moment. The argument, Mr. Prakashan Sharma, that was made was that we want specifically a comment from the Prime Minister on Manipur. We want to draw the attention of the government on Manipur. However, I don't think that has happened. Now, my point is, while all of this is happening, you have used it as a broad canvas. They are concentrating on Manipur and bringing in other stuff also now as a rebuttal to the Prime Minister's speech. Where does Manipur and its problems feature in all of this? Somehow, I don't think post this speech or post this no trust vote, there is a great amount of difference that has happened in Manipur or on Manipur. Apart from the fact that 100 days after the violence began, it is still a talking point in Delhi. That to the credit of the opposition has happened.
It's not about the credit. See, agenda is agenda, propaganda is propaganda. Opposition use this particular concern as a propaganda. They just want to propagate the matter. They don't want to close the matter. They don't want to come to a solution. They don't want to see the reality. She is talking about the Mizoram issue, and it was the bombarding on the people. They were the people of India. They should not have bombarded it. There should be another way. We have done it in the Naga peace movement. We have done it in the other movement. We can see in the 9 years what we have to do for the peace.
Yeah, one by one, please.
One thing is very clear. What we want peace. We want the concern, the togetherness of the people. How we will do it together. If we can have, the concern on a particular agenda, we can debate it, we can discuss it, and we can come to a conclusion. For the conclusion purpose, for the debate purpose, you have not allowed the parliament to run. All the time you did all the agendas, all the, silly points over there, not to run it. We ask him, he come specific debate on this particular point. He specific did on this Mizoram. No, we want to call to the PM, we will do the no confidence motion. It was not the no confidence motion of this ruling government, it was the confidence motion of opposition where they felt. Because they have not allowed to discuss it. If they wanted Manipur only, they should have come in a very peaceful manner. Okay, we will allow. But no, the arrogance was there, the egoism was there. We want a particular set on a particular point. It is not allowed in democracy.
One more, Prakashan Sharma, you see Kartike Batra and Ms. Smita Gupta would know, the opposition exacting something from the government is something which has happened, very much happened, even in the UPA years. I mean, I remember reporting from this very lawn when in the winter session of 2010, an entire session was washed out, Kartike Batra, on the issue of JPC on 2G. It happened.
Sanket, very specific point I want to make. We are blaming the opposition for digressing. I agree. But you have to look at the context also. What is the context? The opposition actually wanted a specific debate under a specific rule in the Rajya Sabha, which the government stalled. Okay? And if that had happened, you would have had a lot of sparks flying. The government knows in the Lok Sabha, the opposition lacks this articulate Hindi-speaking opposition leader with pakke baal, like somebody like a KC Tyagi. Okay? So that plays to their strength. And the third thing, why did the opposition digress, Sanket? Even if you only wanted to speak of Manipur, the parliamentary system has broken down to such an extent that the opposition seldom finds platforms to voice other concerns. So when you're speaking in the no trust motion, I also empathize with the opposition that, because, as I said, I am very upset, not because of any partisan reason, but just because I find that my parliament is not working as it used to work 10 years back. The bills are being passed in the din. Discussions are not happening, right? And so in that case, as an opposition leader, you feel tempted, chalo thoda sa ye bhi dal dete, because those are also issues. Exactly. But of course, it's a trade-off. It's a trade-off. So, yeah.
Mr. Sanjay Singh, would you like to respond? In any case, the space for the opposition is so limited inside Parliament. And there also they have to keep their punches extremely concentrated on Manipur. And yet they feel that let's put in a little bit of this also. That also.
Just spoke of Mehengai, for instance.
Yeah.
Now, that's not a trivial issue.
Yeah, it's a
but
very
it's not
big issue.
discussed.
Yeah, yeah.
Sanket,
Is that space shrinking?
I would.
And you know, conducting the function inside the house is the responsibility of the government.
It's responsibility of the
If there
government.
is a sense of the opposition.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
Fact remains, when from day one, after a session after session, when you come to Parliament with a predetermined notion that you have to disrupt proceedings of the House, sometimes it's Rafale, sometimes it's Pegasus, sometimes it's Manipur, sometimes it's something else, sometimes this is CBI raid, sometimes somebody's questioned by CBI or ED. You cannot say that you don't have space. K.C. Tyagi ji in previous program was referring how in 1963, when first no confidence motion was brought in, there were only 63 MPs in opposition side. And about David and Goliath match he was talking about, the Davids actually punched very hard at Goliath, punching over their weight. So depending on what your strategy is, Rule 267 of Rajya Sabha does not say anything that Prime Minister has to be present in the House or make a statement, only after that something will proceed. For people at large in the country, it does not matter whether you are discussing the subject under Rule A or Rule B. It's important that you discuss. For people, these are very, very abstract.
Well, if the people
Very
have the Prime
abstract things.
Minister.
The opposition walked into, willingly or inadvertently, into whatever, either there was a trap or they walked into garden path.
What is the trap?
See, I don't know. Therefore, I said whether there was a trap or they walked garden path. Because Prime Minister first sentence that he said, भगवान ईश्वर बहुत ही दयालु है कि उन्होंने इनके माध्यम से नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन लाया और हम वो बात कह सकते हैं जो otherwise हमें कहने का मौका नहीं मिलता. So you gave him an opportunity to punch holes on you.
Gupta wanted to come in. I'll come to you.
But Sanket, another thing was, when Rahul Gandhi's membership, he returned to Parliament, there was a great deal of expectation and anticipation among people at large what he is going to speak. He did not kind of deliver to popular expectations.
Three quick points. One is that this dono haath mein laddu politics of Modi, in his speeches, he's always the winner. So, things are always working to his advantage. Or that is what his supporters would have us believe. So, if people are not listening to him, he's a winner. If people are listening to him also, he's a winner. In the past, Prime Ministers faced with a no confidence motion have done the courtesy of listening to the entire debate because they are supposed to respond to that. His is not just a standalone speech. Two, I just wanted to draw attention. Somebody was talking about how this opposition has not behaved itself, not allowed Parliament to function. I'll quote one of the most distinguished BJP leaders who is no more with us, Mr. Arun Jaitley, who said that this form of protest in the House, it's a legitimate parliamentary device. Disruption is a legitimate parliamentary device. So, and
Same
given
was said by Sushma ji also in the Lok Sabha.
Exactly. So, thirdly, when we talk about quoting some Rajya Sabha rule, I'll just take you back to a statement that Rajnath Singh made on the China issue. He made it on, we all know that when a minister makes a statement in the Rajya Sabha, it is open to questioning by the clarifications by the opposition. He made it on condition. It was announced ahead that Mr. Rajnath Singh will make the statement in the Rajya Sabha, but on condition that no opposition person can seek a clarification. So what are you talking about rules? Nobody is obeying any rules anymore.
Shama Mohammed, I'll just come to you. Mr. Agnihotri had to say something and then I'll come.
Shama ji has raised very valid points regarding Mizoram and other things. But my concern is, your party, or even opposition, you should have raised these points in the House under the right to reply. That is the...
Yeah, the point is, why did you walk out?
Walk down.
What was the need for walking out?
And regarding MNF issue, Prakash ji, I will tell you, one of my close relative was in that Air Force squadron when the bombing was done. That was on the MNF camps. And और क्योंकि टेराइन इतना बीहड़ था कि आर्मी नहीं जा सकती थी वहाँ. That's why Mrs. Gandhi used this Air
We
Force.
got Mizoram back. Tell him that.
And another thing, or you see, 66 and 86. Rajiv Gandhi did accord with Lal Denga and sacrificed his own government of Lanthanwala.
Correct.
So I think we should read history in the broader context.
Okay, yeah, sorry?
Should have all been spoken in the parliament.
Not outside parliament.
That's why I'm trying to correct. No. Some more things.
The opposition has missed the chance.
Sir, अगर यही knowledge
No, one moment. Shama Mohammed, so the point, yes, Mr. Tyagi, I'll come to you. The point that Mr. Agnihotri is making is this. Had you not walked out, you would have had the perfect opportunity, number one, to get a right to reply, which you are getting here, right? You would have got that right to reply and you could have made all these points on the floor of the House with a greater impact.
And one more point, Shama. In 1993, Home Minister quoted 1993 Manipur problem, cookies and Nagas tension. In 1993, Narasimha Rao dissolved his own government of Raja Durendra Singh within a week. This is also a
Okay. So
this was not quoted by the Congress party.
Yes, the point that Mr. Agnihotri has made on had you not walked out, wonders could have happened. Your response.
My leader had a press conference and he said very clearly the first 1.5 hours was basic mockery. He was laughing, mocking. He was talking about the Congress party, about India and saying about the arrogance. You know, there's a limit. A prime minister is the prime minister of India. There's a certain decorum with that. So of course we could.
Robbing yourself of an opportunity.
So that's
for a
why.
right to
That's
reply.
why. No. That's what I'm trying to say. That I'm replying to you right now. Okay. Another thing, which what I've understood in this whole thing is he spoke about peace. Where is peace when your own MLAs from the Bharatiya Janata Party, Meiteis and Cookies are saying that we have no faith in Biren Singh? It's not us. It's the Meiteis and Cookie MLAs went to the PMO saying that we are. Number two, one of the most important character of a democracy is what? Accountability. So nobody is accountable in there because Biren Singh has cooperated with us. I'm answering your question.
Answer my question on what was the need to walk out.
So I told you because for the 1.5 hours, everybody was waiting for the word Manipur because the Prime Minister has not spoken.
As soon as you walked out, he mentioned Manipur.
But what did he do? What did he mention? Let me finish. He said, we want peace, samadhan chahiye wahan. He never spoke about what is happening in Manipur. What can we do?
You could have said this on the floor of the
No,
House.
and one more thing. Let me finish. Let me just finish. So the other thing is what I would call Amit Shah and Modi, both of them are liars. The amount they've lied. Even that Kathaveli story about the lady, Mr. Amit Shah said, she came out next day and said, you know what, I did not get help from the BJP, I got help from the Rahul Gandhi. Yeah, so there is another lie. No, and also, so all these lies which they were saying, then he spoke about Parivarvad.
All the more reason Shama Mohammed, as Mr. Agnihotri, as well as Karthikeyan, and everyone is saying you could have said all of this on the floor of the House. Mr. K.C. Tyagi, I have to move on. One point. Please allow others also to speak.
One point on corruption. He speaks about corruption. Only convicted person, who is it? Yedurappa. Let's understand that for corruption in 2011. You can't, and then you have Ajit Pawar, who you accuse him of 70,000 crore irrigation scam. He's your deputy CM now. You need to answer to that. You can't point fingers of corruption to the Congress party. Enough is enough. We are not going to keep quiet about this corruption thing. Who is the convicted Congress person? Who is the convicted congressman? I want to know the convicted Congress leader. He's congressman.
He's your best ally. Lalu Prasad Yadav.
Sanjay Singh, one more. Please allow me. Mr. K.C. Tyagi is a senior person. He is waiting.
became chief
I have to go to Mr. Tyagi, please. Mr. Tyagi.
Because Sanjay said, mentioned the name of Lalu Prasad Yadav. But why don't you forget Ajay Chautala? He's in NDA. He's also convicted.
Okay.
Lalu Prasad Yadav is one character. Ajay Chautala is not lies like Lalu Prasad Yadav. See, one. By Ajay Chautala.
Yeah. You need convicted.
Mr. Tyagi now, only and only Mr. Tyagi, please. Mr. Tyagi, I'm now coming back. Shama Mohammed. Mr. K.C. Shama Mohammed, please. This is not advisable. Please. Yeah. Mr. K.C. Tyagi, do you feel that the opportunity that the opposition provided itself, and something very interesting that Sajjan Kumar mentioned a couple of minutes ago, where he said that the Congress has been able to galvanize their social media and IT cell better than the Bharatiya Janata Party over the past 6 months. तो ये गैल्वनाइज किया, लेकिन उसके बाद फिर उसको शिखर तक लेके नहीं जा पाए। आपको लगता है कि ये आलोचना वाजिब है?
दो सफेद बाल वालों के सफेद बाल के बारे में भी ये चर्चा कर रहे थे। हमारे जमाने अब से ज्यादा अच्छे थे। जिस नॉन कॉन्फिडेंस का जिक्र अभी मेरे दोस्त संजय सिंह ने किया है, डॉक्टर लोहिया इकोनॉमिक्स पे डिबेट कर रहे थे। पहली बार उन्होंने कहा कि देश की 2/3 आबादी 3 आने रोज पे गुजारा करती है। पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू बैठे हुए थे और डॉक्टर लोहिया के ही समाजवादी दोस्त अशोक मेहता चेयरमैन थे प्लानिंग कमीशन के। उन्होंने बुलाया अशोक मेहता को और कहा कि लोहिया कह रहे 3 आने पे, मेरा मानना है 15 आने पे। उन्होंने कहा कि मैं 7 आने की मेरे पास रिपोर्ट है कि 2/3 आदि 7 आने पे। तो उस समय अपोजिशन भी था और रूलिंग पार्टी भी थी। जवाहरलाल जैसे बड़े कद का आदमी भी रेस्पॉन्ड करता था, चूंकि करने वाले डॉक्टर लोहिया थे। अब लोहिया का ही कहना था कि सड़क अगर गर्म है तो संसद भी गर्म रहेगी, और जब संसद बांझ हो जाएगी तब सड़क गर्म रहेगी। अब हो क्या गया है कि अब सब एक दूसरे पर स्कोर करने पे लगे हुए हैं। आई एग्री विद यू, अच्छा होता अगर इंडिया वाले पूरा समय बैठते, लेकिन फिर प्रधानमंत्री भी बैठते थे पहले।
ये नहीं कि उठ के चले जाते।
उठ के जाने का मतलब जो डिसरेस्पेक्ट टू द पार्लियामेंट। और उस समय की डिबेट ऐसी होती थी, ज्योतिर्मय बसु थे, जॉर्ज फर्नांडिस थे, मधुलिमय थे, खड़े होते थे, लगता था पता नहीं आज किस मंत्री की छुट्टी होगी। लेकिन टॉलरेंस थी। सेंट्रल हॉल में सब बैठ के कॉफी पीते थे। अब तो 2 दिन के बाद सेंट्रल हॉल जो है वो भी अचीत की चीज हो जाएगी। इवन द एक्स-MP लाइक वी विल नॉट बी अलाउड टू गो इनसाइड द सेंट्रल हॉल। तो ये माहौल जो बदला हुआ है ये बहुत दुखद है, ये सभी के लिए दुखद है। और प्रकाश जी, नंबर गेम पे मत जाइए। मैंने 400 के नंबर गेम भी देखे हैं, मैंने 350 के भी देखे हैं। अब वो कहाँ चले गए 350 और 400 वाले, तो उस पर मत जाइए। नंबर गेम तो अदलते बदलते रहते हैं, ज्यादा लंबा वक्त नहीं है। 84 में आपके 2 ही MP थे। भला हो इनकी गलतियों का कि आप 303 पहुंच गए, और आप ऐसी ही गलती करोगे तो ये ऊपर चढ़ जाएंगे, आप नीचे आ जाओगे।
जो हमारी पॉलिसी 2 नंबर पे थी वही आज 303 पे है। सी अल्टीमेटली वी आर रनिंग अ आइडियोलॉजी एंड आइडियोलॉजी इज वेरी क्लियर।
आई वांट टू मेक इट प्लीज वो पॉलिसी नहीं है। मैं इसको मैं रजिस्टर करना चाहता हूं। और ये मेरी गवाह है स्मिता। 89 में जब NDA बना है, हमने आपकी सारी पॉलिसी खूंटी पटंगवा दी थी। आर्टिकल 370 का जिक्र नहीं होगा, राम जन्मभूमि बाबरी मस्जिद का विवाद तय होगा सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जरिए, और UCC का जिक्र नहीं होगा। कहाँ चले गई थी आपकी पॉलिसीज तब? ऐसा नहीं है, सत्ता के लिए कॉम्प्रोमाइज आपने भी किए हैं, इन्होंने भी किए हैं, लेकिन आपने तो जो फंडामेंटल्स थे उन्हीं पे कॉम्प्रोमाइज किया।
Mr. Sajjan Kumar, I would like you to perhaps reiterate that point because that was in an earlier broadcast. The point on the Congress being able to mobilize campaigns and set narratives according to you better than the BJP. And then what
For the
happened?
last 6-7 years, 6-7 months, it's very visible that every issue you take, I mean, not only the Manipur, I mean, in the past also, there are many issues wherein every time you see the response or the agenda is set by the opposition, and then entire BJP is trying to counter that as agenda. So that way, it seems that opposition,
INDIA.
including the
Which warranted
exactly so much so that the Prime Minister has to, I mean, mock it by saying it ghamandiya. What I am saying today, but here the moot point is that while opposition has galvanized the IT cells, social media, etc., whether it is resonating on the ground is yet to be tested, and that we will see in 2024. But here one of the weakness of opposition is that political battles are not won by moral outrage, and that too when you do not have the numbers. That you have lost it because of a strategic failure. Manipur has also other internal agendas one has to accept. Let's not pretend that opposition was solely concerned on the Manipur. Yes, there were outrage, but there was also an attempt to encircle the government in run up to 2024. And in that sense, in that guerrilla mode of politics, up to the half, opposition seems to score over the ruling party. But finally, when they walked out, they suddenly seem to lose out all the gains that have scored. So that is why today's era of comparison of the political norms and ethics should be from today's standard. When a leader is speaking in parliament, they know that they are being watched by every nook and corner and by every people on the ground. So therefore the mode of articulation is going to be acidic. It is going to be punchy. It is going to be very polemical. So comparing to a different era, with all respect to Tyagi sir, I think is not the right moment, because we do not have a guarantee that a non-BJP government or a non-BJP leader is going to bring a qualitative change. It is going to move in the same direction.
That's a very, very sad commentary, though. If that happens, Kartikeya Batra, I'll come to you. I'll give you a right to reply. Kartikeya Batra, it's a very sad commentary, because if this is the trajectory, that commentary inside Parliament, if this is the road that it is going to take, it's a little sad, isn't it?
Here's the counterpoint. How do you get better? You get better by challenging the status quo, right? And you challenge the status quo, as Sajjan rightly said. If somebody is being Machiavellian, you can't be Gandhian. Right? So I think that this whole idea of... Sorry? Yeah, I mean, I honestly feel that today's politics, the pace at which it's moving, the media coverage, this overload of information, I really think that the idea of norms and morals, while, you should, I think one should stick to that. But in terms of execution of strategy, at times you have to be a little more clever than hoping that the other party will act as per norms. I think the message is primarily right now for the opposition, because I think, again, because they are the David against the Goliath of the government. The simple as that.
Okay.
He said, Sajjan said a very good point, is that comparing to another era. Now, what was Amit Shah's speech on? Comparing of what happened in Mizoram 30 years ago. Is that how you should do? There is strife right now. What you should do is talk about how you're going to bring peace. Now, one very important thing which Rahul ji also mentioned, and I'm mentioning, our army is very powerful. We all know that, Why is the army not given a free hand? Because you want the divide. Today, Rahul ji said in his press conference that I was there. When I had to go from a Methi area to a Kuki area, I was told, do not bring the Methis in. We will, there will be problems. When I went from Kuki to, I'm going to the Methi area, the Methi said, do not get the Kuki. So why does Rahul ji know? Rahul ji knows all this because he's there. It's a conflict zone, but why is there no protection? There is conflict zone. Is our army weak? What is that? What is the administration doing? It's because the police has also taken sides. Sanket, let's understand. The divide is so deep over there. To heal that divide, we need to act fast. We are not acting fast. And first thing they should do is ask that horrible, shameless chief minister of Manipur to step down. That is Biren Singh. You can change chief ministers for election. Election, you have changed Gujarat chief minister. Uttarakhand, you have changed 3 chief ministers. In Karnataka, you have changed chief minister. Why? Because you want to win election.
I think you've made your point.
For power, BJP will do anything. But for the people who are dying, who are desperate, who are desolate, we don't give a damn. That's what they are.
Please remarks, yes.
Manipur, I think it's unfortunate that even in the parliament there was no voice from the Manipur. We have 2 MPs from the Manipur.
I mean, that's a very important point.
And they are in the ruling side.
The Mizoram MPs...
Yeah, that was in the Rajya Sabha. That was in Rajya Sabha. But there was
One more
from the ruling side, at least one MP from the Manipur should be given the chance to speak.
Okay. Prakash Sharma.
We will tell the truth.
One more. Prakash Sharma. Your response.
Sanket, what the Congress and the Congress concerned people are talking about, they are just putting, ghee on the fire. आग में घी डालने का काम कर रहे हैं और देश को जलाने का काम कर रहे हैं जो इन्होंने अभी तक किया है. द कंसर्न इज द हाउस इज बर्निंग, द मैटर इज सेंसिटिव. वी शुड नो, वी शुड सिट टुगेदर, वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड हाउ टू मेक इट डाउन, make it come down, but that we are not doing it. No, this is their ego, because they are the egoistic people and they do only on emotion. She is talking about 33 years ago about the concern. We should understand what was the condition of Northeast in a particular part and where the Northeast is. Yes, issues are there. So many tribes are there. So many people are there. They have their emotional value. They have their cultural values. So many, this particular convergence has happened.
Sir, no.
The only concern over here is one.
Sanket, you have to ask him an important question. You need to ask him when
No, you've already asked the question.
MLAs have lost faith. Why is Biren Singh there?
Why?
The MLAs
What
have
is the
lost
one
faith.
moment?
Why don't you answer
What is
to that?
what is the compulsion of going on with Mr. N. Biren Singh? This is a question being
I
asked.
have a short question as an Indian to the BJP spokesperson, sir.
Okay.
As an
Indian
voter,
can you pass on the mic?
is it? I know, Bharatiya voter, Bharatiya Nagarik. आप सच में कह रहे हैं कि आपकी सेंट्रल और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट मिला के 100 दिन में मणिपुर जैसे राज्य को कंट्रोल नहीं कर पाई? हाउ इज दैट पॉसिबल, सर? इट इज माइंड बॉगलिंग, you know. And a lot of people like me, we are not affiliated to any parties. As Indians, we feel distressed and sad when we see those visuals.
Your quick response and then Mr. Tyagi.
See, we all are Indian and we all are concerned. The issue is there, the political position over there, the social position over there, the geographical position over there. We should understand what the infrastructure is there, how the things are there, and this is very much in control. Only thing we want to see the control as per our side, our perception, it should be that there. We are not seeing the whole book. We are seeing a particular page, particular draft, particular case. Lot of things are happening. Yes, it happens. But after that, what is happening? What is the condition of Manipur now? How it is controlling? They want to make it a video camera over there, the live show, and it should come there. No, the treatment is going on. The Manipur is under a treatment condition and it is doing very well because they are taking a concern. It's a matter of concern. But putting matter on a burn side, we should understand the things to make it calm down.
Running out of time, Mr. KC Tyagi.
जिस तरह की बहस संसद में नहीं हो पाई, हमारे पैनल में भी उसका अभाव में बहुत अफसोस के साथ कह रहा हूँ, चूँकि नॉर्थ ईस्ट जो है और कश्मीर, उनमें बहुत समानता है एक जैसी. वहाँ आर्टिकल 370 था, वहाँ भी आर्टिकल है. वहाँ भी 70 साल से मिलिट्री है, यहाँ भी 70 साल से मिलिट्री है. वहाँ भी सेल्फ डिटर्मिनेशन के मूवमेंट चल रहे हैं, वहाँ भी सेल्फ डिटर्मिनेशन के मूवमेंट चल रहे हैं. नागा 1952 में फिजो ने कहा कि हम आज़ादी नहीं है, 47 में मना कर दिया उन्होंने. ऐसे ही प्रिंसली स्टेट आज़ादी को सेल्फ डिटर्मिनेशन का मूवमेंट चला. कल जिसका जिक्र प्रधानमंत्री कर रहे थे, एक दौर ऐसा था पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट में आग लगी हुई थी, मोर देन कश्मीर. चीन से उनको मदद मिल रही थी, बर्मा से मिल रही थी, उस समय ईस्ट पाकिस्तान था, वहां से मिल रही थी. एक भी पार्टी के किसी भी नेता ने छोड़ करके गगोई को उन कंसर्न को वहां पे शेयर नहीं किया. और मैं बहुत तकलीफ के साथ आपसे कहना चाहता हूं प्रकाश जी, वहां पे लगभग सब जगह, और जब कांग्रेस की सरकार आ जाएगी तो सारी सरकारें वहां कांग्रेस की हो जाएंगी. आपकी जानकारी के लिए मेरी पार्टी की भी सरकार रह चुकी है वहां पे मणिपुर में. जब जॉर्ज फर्नांडीज कन्वीनर थे एनडीए के, तो वहां पे हमारी पार्टी की सरकार रही है. वो तो दिल्ली की तरफ देखते हैं, तो उसमें उनको ऐसा मत समझिए कि वो आपके साथ आ गए. पूरा नागालैंड, पूरा मिजोरम, पूरा नॉर्थ ईस्ट जल रहा है. और उसमें जो शर्मा मुख्यमंत्री है वो तेल डाल रहा है वोटों की खातिर. आप मैं कहना चाहता हूँ थोड़े दिनों बाद आसाम भी जलेगा.
Okay, let's hope that doesn't happen. I've run out of time. But the point is that this debate, discussion happened, and was this able to pacify or soothe the frayed nerves in Manipur? I think because that was the objective. Was the objective served? Did Manipur get that healing touch that it wanted? That it wanted from Delhi? Has that happened? I think we'll leave you with this question and what you make of the discussion that you heard on this panel. Thank you very much for watching this special edition of The Big Five.